igcse Computer Science Paper 2, Debugging. So for this first question, we have this piece of code and we're going to identify the mistake, the errors. So what this code does, it inputs ages of people entering an event, and the input sequence is ended by a negative value. So when you put a negative value in, it ends. The code outputs the number of people at the event over the age of 18. So it inputs the ages and the program is stopped. The input sequence is stopped by a negative value, and in the end it shows the number of people over the age of 18. So this is the code, and let's identify 4 mistakes. So first mistake, this line 4 should be it is if age is more or equal to 18, then it should be if age is more than 18, because it says over the age of 18. That's the first error. Line 5 is another error. num18 equals to num18 plus age, and the correction is num18 equals to num18 plus 1, not plus age, cause like number of people that are above the age, and we're not adding the ages, we're just adding an 1 to say that another person has entered over the age of 18. Okay, and another error is print num18 minus age. It should be just print num18 in line 8. Here print num18, not why is there minus age. It's unnecessary. I mean, it's the wrong piece of code. It should be just print num18. And this error, input age missing inside loop and correction. So basically there's an input age over here, but you have to input age another time. It could be like over here, here. So after line 6, so endif, then input age again, and then we'll say again compare if age, while age is more than or equal to 0, then do that. So yeah, it's missing over here. And how this works is if age is less than 0, so if it's a negative value as said over here, it will not do the while loop. It will just go to end while and then print the number, print num18. Okay, next question. It inputs positive numbers and discards any negative numbers and then outputs the average. So if you put a 0 inside, it says over here, if you enter a 0, then the process is cancelled. So 4 mistakes. One mistake is counter should be 0 firstly, and repeat input num until num is more than or equals to 0. This is another mistake. So counter equals to 0, line 2, and line 6 until num is equal to or more than 0. So yeah, until num is equal to or more than 0. And the other 2 mistakes are total equals to total plus 1. It should have been total equals to total plus num over here. Total equals to total plus num, because we're adding the average, and in the end we're dividing the total by counter minus 1. because we putting here -1 because when an input of 0 cancels the process, but it will still be added to the counter, which should have been counter equals to counter plus 1. So it will cancel the process, but before it will add a 1 over here, so we'll -1 over here. That's another mistake. So these are 4 mistakes. 1, it should be equal to 0. Second, more or equal to 0. Total equals to total plus num, and counter equals to counter plus 1, and yeah, those are 4 mistakes. Another question. So this code does this: inputs 10 numbers, checks whether each number is within a specified range. So there's a range given. It checks if it's in that range, totals the numbers within the range and outside the range. So separately totals the numbers within the range, and separately totals the numbers outside the range. Okay, let's see. So first mistake, initially out range should be 0, the numbers outside the range. That's one mistake. For count 1 to 10 numbers input, it is checked if it's inside the range, then in range equals to in range plus 1. If it's outside, then out range equals to out range plus 1. This is another mistake. So 1, 2, this is unnecessary, as we're doing for count equals to 1 to 10, so this is unnecessary. Another mistake. So 1, 2, 3, and next count, not a next x. And yeah, or it could be next x, but for count should be changed to for x. So these are the 4 mistakes. Okay, so we'll move on to the next one. This algorithm in pseudocode has been written to input 100 numbers and prints out the total of the numbers. A repeat until loop has been used in this case. Okay, so where is the error? Let's see. Count equals to 0, sum equals to 0. Repeat, input the number, sum is sum plus number, count is becomes count plus 1. So there's a number, there's 1 added to count until count is more than 100, print sum. So the mistake is until count is more than 100. It should have been until count is equal to 100, as over here, or it could have been also this. Okay, so yeah, until count is equal to 100. But if we wanted to keep it this way, then count, if we want to keep it until count is more than 100, then count should have been initially 1, not 0. So it would have been 1 now, and when it reaches 101, it cancels, it stops the repeat, which would have also been correct. Like if this was to be kept, then count would be 1, but if this was 0, then you could use this or this or this. Basically this would be 100, this is 100, and more than 99 is 100. Okay, total equals 0, counter equals 50, blah blah blah. With this code, 50 numbers are entered, and the total and average of the numbers are calculated. So there are 4 errors in this, and let's find them. Okay, let's see. So print enter number. A number is input. Total equals to total plus num. That is one mistake. Counter, oh yeah, another mistake is counter equals to 0. Total equals to total plus number. That's another mistake. Mistake number 2. Counter equals to counter plus 1. Third mistake. And fourth mistake is average equals to total over count over counter. So these are 4 mistakes. Counter equals to 0 initially, and total, and this should be line 7 total equals to total plus number, or number plus total, same thing. And line 8 is counter equals to counter plus 1. So line 8, not number, should be counter equals to counter plus 1. And last mistake is average equals to total plus counter or over 50. Average equals to total over counter, divide by counter, or divide by 50, as over here. Average equals to total over counter or over 50. Thank you.